We help local service businesses get more calls from Google, not just better rankings, more calls, more inquiries, and more opportunities to win new customers. Because ranking is only part of the equation. Because people find you on Google, compare you to a few other businesses, look at your reviews, look at your photos, your profile, and then they decide who they trust enough to call. We built nearby calls around that entire process. Get found, build trust, and get the call. And we run all three pieces of this for you every month. Here's what most local business owners don't realize. Every single week, people are going to Google and searching for exactly what you do. Plumber near me, garage door repair, HVAC company, electrician, roofer, landscaper, whatever your service is. Those people aren't casually browsing. A lot of them need somebody right now. And if your business doesn't show up, or if they find you and the business just below you has 4 times the reviews and looks far more established online, there's a pretty good chance that call is going somewhere else. You may never even know you lost it. That's what makes this such a big problem. You don't see the calls that you never had a chance to answer. And a lot of business owners have already tried fixing this. Maybe you hired an SEO company, you paid $1,000 or $1,500 a month, and every month they sent you another report full of rankings, impressions, charts. But when you asked the question that actually mattered, how much new business did this generate, nobody really had an answer. So eventually you canceled. And that's exactly why we built nearby calls differently. Because we don't believe ranking by itself is the goal. The call is the goal. Think about what you actually do when you're looking for a local company. You search Google, you look at the map, you open 2 or 3 businesses, you look at their rating, maybe you scroll through a few of their photos, and then you call whichever one feels like the safest choice. The whole decision might take less than a minute. So there are really 3 things that have to happen. They have to find you, they have to trust you, and they have to contact you. That's why our framework is find, trust, contact, and nearby calls works on all 3. Part 1 is we fix and optimize your Google profile. The first thing that we do is audit your entire Google business profile. Your categories, your business description, your service areas, your settings, your photos, how complete your profile is, everything. Because you'd be surprised how many businesses are trying to rank on Google for services they haven't even told Google they offer. Sometimes the primary category is wrong, sometimes important secondary categories are missing, sometimes half the services that the company offers aren't even listed anywhere on the profile. Those aren't things that we spend 6 months slowly fixing so that we can justify a retainer. We go after them right away and get those things fixed within the first few days or week of working with us. Our goal is to get the foundation fixed first, because everything else that we're doing works better when Google understands who you are, what you do, and where you do it. Then we attack what I think is one of the biggest missed opportunities for local businesses: reviews. Most established businesses have hundreds, sometimes even thousands of happy past customers, but only a tiny percentage of those ever left a Google review. Not because they weren't happy, usually because nobody consistently asked them. So we help you go back through your existing customer list and start reaching out to ask those people. And this is one of the places that we can usually create value pretty quickly. On an older customer list, even a relatively small response rate can turn into dozens of new reviews. Then we build a system for moving forward so you're not right back in the same position again in 6 months. Your new customers can automatically receive a review request at just the right time, right after they've worked with you. We can follow up automatically, and once someone engages, the follow-up stops so that we're not bugging anybody. We also give customers an easy way to provide feedback about their experience and make the review process simple. Instead of hoping that somebody remembers to search for your company 3 days later, you actually have a system consistently asking your real customers about their experience. And now your review count starts growing month after month instead of sitting at the same number for the next 2 years. Then we keep everything moving. Regular Google Business Profile posts, fresh photos, updates, new review responses, ongoing optimization. We monitor what's happening and continue making improvements instead of optimizing the profile once and then disappearing. Because this isn't about making one big change and hoping that Google sends you leads forever. It's about building the kind of Google presence that gets stronger over time. Your profile gets better, your review count grows, your reputation gets stronger, your visibility improves, and instead of your competitors slowly pulling ahead of you each month, you're the one that they're chasing. And before you spend anything with us, you can actually see where you stand. Go to nearbycalls.com and in the top right hand corner, click on Get a Free GBP Audit. We'll put together a free Google Business Profile audit for you. We'll look at things like your categories, services, profile setup, and where you're actually ranking across your map and service area, not just from one spot in the middle of town. We'll show you what we find, and the audit is yours whether you hire us or not. Here's another example. Ozarks Overhead door here in the Springfield area. When we started tracking them in April, their average position on the map grid was about 11.5. On several points across the market, they weren't even being found at all. We optimized the profile, we launched the review system, and we kept working on it. By August, their average map position had improved to around 3.2. Most of the grid points on the map were sitting between position 2 and 4. That's roughly a 72% improvement in their average map rank position in about 4 months. During that same period, they added 61 new 5-star reviews, and their Google Business Profile recorded 124 call clicks. Rob, the owner, said, "I've already seen a huge boost in both online visibility and new customer inquiries." That's the result we're looking for, not a pretty report. More visibility, more trust, more opportunities to get the call. Here's another example. Precise Plumbing, also here in Springfield. When we started working with them, they were sitting well outside of the top 3 across the entire map area for most of the plumbing related searches. And many of those positions across the map, they were sitting in spot number 20 or even below. We optimized the profile, we launched the review system, and we kept working on it consistently. Today, they're ranking number 1 across most all of the tracked area for all of the primary plumbing related searches. During that same campaign, they've added 231 new Google reviews, bringing them to a total of 385 total reviews while maintaining a 5-star rating. And during the latest reporting period alone, their Google Business Profile generated 408 direct call clicks. But here's something important about that. That's only the people that clicked the call button directly from the Google Business Profile. It doesn't include the other 593 people that clicked through to their website from Google, some of which then either called the business or filled out a form on their website and submitted an inquiry. So those 408 call clicks are not all the leads that have been generated from their profile. They're just the calls that Google can directly attribute to somebody clicking on the call button from the Google profile. The profile also generated 958 direction requests and was viewed more than 12,000 times during that reporting period. That's what we're trying to build, and not just a number 1 ranking that we can put on a report. More visibility, more trust, and hundreds of opportunities for real customers to contact the business. Now, there are usually 2 questions that people ask me. The first one is, can't I just do it myself? And the answer is definitely. In fact, we even give a lot of free resources to teach you exactly how to do this, and you can learn step by step by following along our blog posts and our videos at learn.nearbycalls.com. We've built an entire learning center with free guides and videos showing businesses exactly how to improve their own Google Business Profile, from categories to services to reviews, photos, optimization. We're not hiding that information. The issue usually isn't whether you can do it. The issue is whether you're actually going to keep doing it, because you're also trying to run a business. You've got customers, employees, jobs, estimates, invoices, problems, and when things get busy, updating Google can quickly find its way to the bottom of the list. And that's how you end up 6 months later realizing that you haven't posted anything new to Google, nobody's asked for reviews, your competitors have added 75 new reviews, and you're still sitting right where you were. Our entire job is making sure that that doesn't happen. One of our clients, Chance, put it this way. He said, "I'm not very tech savvy, but the crew at Sportsman Creative doubled my business and taught me a whole new world for my business." You don't need to become a Google expert. You just need someone that knows what they're doing, actually making sure that this stuff gets done. The second question is, how fast does this work? And there are really 2 different answers to this. The reviews side can move pretty quickly. When we launch a campaign to your existing customers, it's very common to start seeing new reviews coming in just the first few weeks. Ranking is different. Google isn't something that we just flip a switch on Monday and suddenly on Friday you're ranking number 1. But that does not mean that you should expect to pay us for 6 months before anything happens. In most campaigns, we start seeing movement across the map grid in the first month. Depending on your market, your competition, and where you're starting from, Those early improvements may start turning into additional phone calls pretty quickly. But where the system really starts becoming powerful is as everything compounds. Month 1, we've improved the profile and we've started collecting new reviews. Then we're building on that in month 2 and again in month 3. By the time that you've been running this for 3 to 6 months, you haven't been sitting around waiting for something to happen. You've been building an advantage. More reviews, a stronger profile, better visibility across more of your market, more trust whenever customers compare you to the competition, and ideally more inquiries consistently coming into the business. That's the part I think people miss. The goal is for month 6 to be stronger than month 3, month 3 to be stronger than month 1, and month 1 to be better than doing nothing. And once you've built that momentum, your competitor isn't starting where you are. They're starting where you were months ago. So who is this for? Nearby Calls is built primarily for local service businesses. Plumbers, HVAC companies, garage door companies, electricians, roofers, contractors, landscapers, and other businesses where one additional phone call can turn into hundreds or even thousands of dollars of additional revenue. It's especially valuable for good established businesses that already have happy customers, but their Google presence doesn't really show it. Maybe you've got 30 reviews where you should really have 300. Maybe you're great at what you do, but the other business that's showing right above you looks much more established online. Maybe you're buried outside of the top 3 across most or even all of your service area. That's what we're trying to change. What we won't do is promise you a guaranteed number 1 ranking or a guarantee that you're going to get X number of phone calls. Nobody controls Google enough to honestly be able to promise you that. What we can do is systematically improve the things that give you a much better chance of being the business that customers can find, trust, and contact. And this is also why I wouldn't wait until the phone completely stops ringing before you decide to work on this. When business gets slow, everybody wants an instant fix. They want to spend money today and have 20 new leads by Friday. That's not what this is. The better move is to start building this before you're desperate for it, because you're not waiting around for months with nothing happening. You're building momentum, you're collecting reviews, you're improving the profile, you're expanding visibility across the map, and you're putting distance between you and the businesses that are still doing nothing. Then 3 or 6 months from now, instead of saying, I really need to do something about Google, you're already months into the campaign. And the competitor who finally decides to get serious about it, they're starting where you started. So here's what I want you to do. Go to nearbycalls.com and try the entire Nearby Calls service for $49 for your first 30 days. Not a stripped down trial, not an audit where we show you everything that's wrong and then try to charge you $1,500 to fix it. The full service. We'll audit your profile, optimize it, build out the review system, start reaching back out to your past customers, begin the ongoing profile work, keep activity going across your Google profile and across all of your social media accounts by posting regularly, and let you actually see what we can do. After your first 30 days, it's $199 per month. There's no long-term contract. You can cancel, and everything that we've already built stays with your business. The profile improvements stay, the reviews stay, the work we've completed stays. If you want to be able to use text messages to send out the review request to your customers, there is some small messaging and registration costs associated with getting your business properly set up for SMS, or we can run the review system just through email. But the Nearby Calls service itself, your first full month is $49. If your Google presence isn't where it should be right now, I think that's a pretty inexpensive way to find out what happens when somebody actually starts working on it. Because every week you leave it alone, people are still searching, they're still calling somebody. The only question is, who gets the call? Go to checkout.nearbycalls.com and let's make sure it's you.